how to say we're single until we verbally agree on commitment without sounding like you're playing games. First of all, I'm going to acknowledge that it's not a game. It's reasonable. Okay. Someone expecting exclusive access to you without agreeing to reciprocity and creating a safe container for commitment with you. That's being unreasonable. You have to know that expecting safety in your relationship, okay, like commitment, expecting safety in your relationship is reasonable, necessary, important, valid, vital. In relationship, we need safety. And you're talking about romantic relationship, safety and commitment go together. You ought to be nervous about that, but I understand a lot of people are, because a lot of people try to connect in relationship with people who weren't ready or didn't want a connection with them. So now it's like, oh, you feel weird about it. So first thing, you got to reorient yourself to that, because it's not weird. It's important. It's necessary. It's vital. It's a non-negotiable. It's good. It's valid. It only makes sense. It's totally reasonable. Now understand this. This doesn't mean that you need or require them to commit to you. This is important, y'all. Nuance is so important. This is why I like this page. I like my page. I'm my favorite page. Okay. And Kitty Rose, aligned with Allison, Amani Tut. Those are my three. Nuance is important because these blanket statements are not realistic. These black and white, it's always this, it's always that, never do this, never do that. Like, no. It's not that you are requiring that person to commit to you. You're saying that I require this commitment or this safety from anybody I'd be in a relationship with. Now, is you gonna do it or not? That's a different question. Now, please don't use this tone when you're talking to these ladies and gentlemen, but I'm right here with y'all. Yeah, it's more tactful, graceful ways to go about saying that, but I'm trying to communicate the message. In order to achieve safety in relationship, romantic, intimate relationship, you need commitment. Okay, unless you are intentionally polyamorous. You need to set your standard for exclusivity and commitment. That's just your general standard. And then you allow the other person to decide where they want to be in relationship to that. Are they aligned with that and they want to do that with you? Or are they not ready to provide that for you? Man or woman, they're not ready to offer that to you. And then then you're able to see like, okay, then don't do exclusive dating things, exclusive relationship things with someone who's not exclusively in a relationship with you. Now that's on you. That part is where you've got to have your self-control and boundaries. You cannot be afraid to lose them. Man or woman, if they're not meeting your standard, there's someone that you can lose. You cannot flex on that kind of thing, on like what you need for emotional safety, what you need for commitment, what you need to be able to be in an exclusive, safe, committed relationship. Right when you flex on that standard for safety, you're playing yourself. You're playing yourself. Okay. So a lot of times someone right there in that moment, this is where they get messed up, because they're afraid that if they don't do certain things with that person, that you're going to lose them, but they weren't saying that they were yours anyway. So you got to reorient yourself around that. Okay. Aside from this, y'all, a note about exclusive dating. I consider exclusive dating courtship. Okay. Now, I think, y'all, you need to be real clear with people about what they're talking about. When they're talking about dating or boyfriend or girlfriend or exclusive, you need to be like, define the terms. It doesn't need to be a rigid sitting at a table like you about to do a whole prenup. Now, it doesn't need to be like that. It can be a very casual conversation. You're talking about a serious thing, but it can be in a casual conversation. But you need to understand what somebody means when they say these things, because people are playing with terms now. Okay. I want to make any assumptions. Just be very clear. Nothing wrong with being clear. Asking for clarity and you being clear. I consider exclusive dating courtship. I don't think a lot of people are seeing it this way. I need to do a little survey, because courtship, exclusive dating then leads to engagement, leads to marriage. Hear me. Some want exclusive dating with you. Let me get up close. Some people want exclusive dating with you just to make sure that your attention isn't going elsewhere, but they're not necessarily looking at you as a husband or a wife. Let me redo that, because I messed up an important word. Some people want exclusive dating with you just to make sure your attention is not going elsewhere, but they're not necessarily looking at you for marriage or seeing you as their husband or wife. I said a husband or wife. There's a difference between someone seeing you as a husband or wife and seeing you as their husband or wife. It's not the same thing. Okay? It's not. If I'm the only one that tells you, I hope you don't forget it. It's not the same thing. I would only advise you exclusively date/court. I say they're the same thing. Exclusively dating, you should both be like engagement, marriage. It's not that you can't get out of it, but you shouldn't be thinking about getting out of it. Why are you exclusively I got to get this off of my chest today. Why are you exclusively dating someone? Why are you worried about exclusively dating someone if you don't see them, if you don't see yourself becoming engaged and married to them? What's the point? My point is that people do it so that they just feel like, oh, you're just not dating your attention isn't elsewhere. I know that you're physically just mine, but I'm not even really thinking about engagement. Like, I don't really, husband, wife, I don't really see. If you don't see that person like that, don't try to take them away from everything else. That's great, man or woman. That's just absolutely, I think that it's just, we got mixed up with that stuff. I think we got mixed up. Is anybody hearing me on this? I don't think that you should be, why are you exclusively dating? Why are you worried about what they doing? If you don't see them, if you don't see that person as your person, right? Now you might get in your courtship, you might get to a place where you're like, I really thought it was this and it's not. Okay. But I don't think you should be going into it like we might break up. I think you should be going into, why aren't you going into it with a marriage mind already? You should be going into it treating that person like you're my husband, you're my wife. Like if that's where we're going. Now I'm definitely not saying don't move in. Don't have any babies. I'm not saying you do everything that a husband or wife would do without being a husband or wife, but I'm saying your mindset. Come on, follow me. Mindset needs to be, this is like, I see that I'm going to treat you. I'm not interacting with this as if we're going to break up. I don't think you should be exclusively dating that person. Let them go. You go too. Both y'all go. That means you got to leave each other all the way alone, but you don't need to be exclusive for that. Exclusivity to me, that is courtship. And that means that we are both looking at engagement and we are both looking at marriage together with each other, not in general. At that point, we're talking about exclusive dating in particular. It's before that, just keep it open. Question, if we are exclusively dating, is there a way we can do too much for someone before actually being committed? Yeah, having a baby and moving in. Yep, having babies and moving in. That's too much. Don't have babies and don't move in. I don't think that a man should be paying all of your bills. You're not his wife. You should not be paying that rent, sir. Like a lot of flexibility otherwise.